So welcome to the module 2 of this tutorial. And in this tutorial, we'll be covering scales, type of scales, chromatic scales, major scales, software, and numbering system. So what are scales? Scales are a sequence of musical notes played in ascending or descending order. They are bases of melodies and harmonies. For example, if I do like this, that is a scale because it's ascending, then it's descending. So it can be in various points. So all these are scales. So what are the types of scales we have? The first type of scales we have is the chromatic scale. Now, what is a chromatic scale? A chromatic scale consists of all 12 notes within an octave. In the previous lesson, I talked about octave. For example, if you have C here, from this C to this C is an octave. It could be for F, from this F to this F is an octave, G to G is an octave. There's always 12 notes in between them. So you count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you can see from this C to this C, there's just 12 notes. So that's just it. So coming back to chromatic scale consists of 12 notes within an octave and can be instrumentals in creating left-hand movement or solo performance. What this means now is that for your chromatic scale is all those scales within the octave. For example, C chromatic scale will be what? C, this, 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 this. So if we do it like this, so that's a scale. So that is your chromatic scale. In this module, we'll not be covering fingering. So when we get to another module, we'll talk about the fingering arrangement and all of that. So your exercise is this. You want to write how the chromatic scales for all keys. So starting from C, you write it, all the chromatic scales involved. You go to D flat, you write all the whole chromatic scale. So D flat is an octave. So all the whole chromatic scales is what? D flat, D, E flat, E, F, F sharp, G, A flat, A, B flat, B, C, and D flat. So you write it out for all the whole keys: C, D flat, D, E flat, E, F, F sharp, G, A flat, A, B flat, B, and C. So you write it out for each and every one of them. Write it out. It's very, very important because it will be useful later on. So the next thing is major scale. What are major scale? Major scale is a diatonic scale consisting of 7 notes, and they are characterized by the specific pattern of whole step and half step. Chromatic scale consists of the 12 notes in an octave, but major scale consists of 7 notes, and they are characterized by their whole step and half step. So breaking it down, let us say on the key of C, our major scale is. So if you count the notes, I'll break it down. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then C. Or we count it from a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we have the C back. So it consists of 7 notes. Now, how are these notes gotten? It has a formula, and the formula is what? Root. Write this down. Root, whole step, half step, whole step, half step. So you can call it RW square H, RW cube H. Anyhow you understand it is fine. So that is the formula, just like you can see on the screen. So what it means that R stands for root. W means whole step. And I explained whole step, that whole step means between 2 intervals, there is a note separating them. For example, from your C to D, you have is a whole step because this key is separating them. Then half step means basically there's no key between the 2 intervals. For example, like your E to your F. Using the formula, let's say we don't know what is the major scale of key C. All we have to do is to follow the formula. The formula, first one is the root, which is C. Then we have whole step, which is your D. That means whole step, you skip a note and go whole step, we have D. Then we have another whole step. Whole step, skip this note and move to the next one. So we have 3 notes already. The next one is half step. Half steps means there's no note in between. So you move directly to this one. So we have 4 notes already now. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. You remember the remaining 3 notes. So the next one is whole step. We skip a note and move to it. We have this now. Then the next one is whole step again. We skip a note. Then we have this. So the next one again is whole step again. We skip a note, this note, and move to the next one. Then the last one is half step, which is no note in between. So you just move to the next one. So this is your C major scale. Let me go over it again. We have the formula is root, whole step. That means you skip a note, move to D. So there's a note. For another whole step, you skip a note and move to the next one. That's your E. So the next is half step. There's no note. Half step means there's no note in between. So you just move to the next one, which is your F. So the next one is whole step, which means you skip a note. Then we come here, we have your G. So the next one is a whole step again. You skip a note, you have your A. The next one is a whole step. You skip a note, I have your B. Then the last one is your half step H, and you just move to the next note. So this is your C major scale. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So that's how we get the major scale. So this formula is applicable to all keys. So let us do D flat, for example, this key. Let's say we don't know the scale on D flat. We just follow the formula. This is our root, the first note. Then we'll go whole step, skip a note, whole step, skip a note, half step, don't skip a note. So whole step again, skip a note, whole step again, we skip a note. Then whole step again, we skip a note. Then half step. So this note those notes are what comprises of the D flat major scale again. So we got this using the formula basically. So what you want to do is that you want to write out the major scales for all the O keys: C, D flat, D, E flat, E, F, F sharp, G, F sharp, G, A flat, A, B flat, B, C. You have to write everything out. You have to do this because it will be instrumental in the future when I start talking about fingering and all of that. So make sure you write out the major scales out for all the O keys using the formula RWW, RH, WWH, just like you can see on the screen. The next thing we want to cover is surfer notation. What are surfer notation? Surfer notation or solfege is a system of representing musical pitches with syllables. Now, if we come back to our C, we said our C scale is what? C, whole step, D, whole step, E, half step, F, whole step, G, whole step, A, whole step again, B, then half step. So if I should play everything one by one, it sounds like that sounds familiar, right? So that sounds like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So we call that surfer or surfer notation. Let us now go back to chromatic scale. How are we going to name it in respect to key C? Now, we already say this on our key C. This is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So our chromatic scale involves all the O keys. So if we say this is do, what is this? What are the black notes of the chromatic scale of C? Very simple. If this is our do, the next key after do is called D. So this is do, D, D. Then we have re. Then if we have re, the next one here, we call it mo. So this is do, D, re, mo. So write it down. Do, di, re, mo, mi, fa, fi, fa, fi, so, Z. So let me slow down again. Do, then this is D, this is Re, this is Mo, Mi, Fa, Fi, So, Z, La, Do, Ti, Do. On key C now, if you want to call out the chromatic scale, we have do, di, re, mo, mi, fa, fi, so, zi, la, do, ti, do. As simple as that. Let us go to the key of D flat. Let us say this is our D flat. Then we'll know the formula for the major scale. That's I said, write it out. Do, okay, whole step, re, whole step, mi, half step, fa, whole step, so, whole step, la, whole step again, ti, then half step, then half step. So we have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Now the chromatic scale for D flat will just involve all the notes in between to the next D flat. That means do, D. So this will be D, re, mo, mi, fa, sol, fa, fi, zi. Okay. So this will be do, di, re, mo, mi, fa, fi, so, zi, la, do, ti, do. So once you know your major scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, the next note after your do will always be, is called D. So the next note after your re, before your mi is what? Mo. So we have do, di. Just note it like that. Re, after re, we have mo for your chromatic scale. So after mi, we have your fa, no note in between. Then for the note before your so is called fi, fa, fi. Then we have your so, just like you can see. Then after your so, we have your z before your la, z, la. Then from before your T, you have do, then T, do. So just know your skills like that. So it's your full chromatic skills on any key will be what? Do, di, re, mo, mi, fa, fi, so, zi, la, do, ti, do. For all your chromatic skills now, you want to go out and write out the suffers or note the suffers for each and every one of them. So the next one we'll be covering is number system. So what are number system? Number system is representing the scales degree with number. Let's go back to the key of C. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Now what you will notice that we can call this C1, then this our do, re 2, then mi 3, then fa 4, then so 5, la 6, T7, then back to 1, C. So those are the number system. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, back to 1. So that's the number system we use to name all these keys. So your do is 1, your re is 2, your mi is 3, then your fa is 4, your so is 5, your la is 6, and your ti is 7. So it's applicable to all keys. Even on your D flat, you have your do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. I already explained how I got this. So we have do is 1, your re is 2, your mi is 3, your fa is 4, your so is 5, your la is 6, your ti is 7, then back to 1. So do it for all keys like that. Write them keys, the suffers, and the number system. Now the question now is, if on the key of C we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So what will be all these black keys? Let us say for our chromatic scale on C, which involve all notes. So what are all these black keys, right? With the number system. So it is quite simple. In the key namings, I talked about flat and sharp, where I called this C, Then I said this is D. Then a key before that D is called D flat. If it's in front, we call it D sharp. You can go back to the previous module and watch that again. So it's the same principle. If this is our 1 and this is our 2, this key in respect to C now. So if you want to call this D, it will be 2 flats. 2 flats. Then if you go to our Mi, this or our third note, 1, 2, 3, this key before this third note will be called 3 flats. As simple as that. 3 flats. 3 flat. So this can also be called 1 sharp. You understand? Let us say we want to name it in respect to this, just like we talked about key naming. If this is 1, we can call it 1 sharp. Or if we come to 2, we can call it 2 flats before. Something in front is sharp, something at the back is flat. So these two can be called, this black one can be called 2 sharp, or most times we call it 3 flats. So because this is 3, then 3 flats. So 1 sharp, 2, then this can also be called 2 flats. Then we have 2 sharp, 3, or this can also be called 3 flats. Then we have 4. Then this will be called 4 sharp. 4 sharp, or if we come to 5, we can call it 5 flats. You understand? So it has 2 names. So this one can be called 5 sharp because this is 5, this is 5 sharp. If we go to 6, we can call it 6 flats. So if we move on, this can be called 6 sharp, or if we come to 7, we can call it 7 flats. Then we are back to C. So basically, we name them with sharp or flat. So let me go to the key of D flat. Let us say this is our D flat. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then back to 1. So if you want to name these chromatics for the D flat, which is do, di, re, mi, mi, fa, fi, so, si, la, do, ti, do. So chromatic, I explained, is all notes between that octave of that particular key. So this is our 1. This is, if this is our 2, this will be what? 2 flat. So if this is our 1, this will be what? 1 sharp. That is our D, 1 sharp. If this is our 2, this can also be 2 flat or 1 sharp now. So if this is our 3, this can be what? 3 flat, or we name it in respect to this 2, which is 2 sharp. Then if this, we have this our 4. Then if this is our 4 here, this key here before our saw or our 5 note is what? 4 sharp, or if we come to our 5, we can call it 5 flat. If we move on again, this key here before our 6 is called what? 5 sharp. Then if this is our 6, this can also be called 6 flats. You understand? And then if we move on again, this key here before our 7th note, this can be called 6 sharp, or what? If we limit respect to our 7, we call this 7 flat. Then we have our root note again, which is our D flat. But if you've not done the previous assignment, do it again. Let me repeat it. Write out your chromatic scales for all the keys and write out the surface underneath it. Write out your major scales and write out the surface for everything out. And also include the number system for your chromatic scales so that you get used to it.